Hey there, I'm the Hybrid, we're all friends, welcome to my basement. Now, today is my first video, and never done a YouTube thing before, but we'll see what happens head first. That's my cat. I have no idea what he's doing right now, but I should probably stop him because he's going to tear up my floorboard. Anyway, so today I figured I'd sort of take this sort of opportunity to just talk about a little struggle that I think a lot of guitar players, myself included, have had when learning how to play lead guitar. Lead guitar is, well, okay, so today's lesson is going to be all about building up speed and strength in this hand. What is this hand? This hand is your fretting hand. Whichever hand you're used to, go around the neck. For most players who are right-handed, it's going to be your left hand. If you're Hendrix, it's a different story, it's going to be this hand. But regardless of that, I'm sure you guys know the difference between left and right. I'm just going to cut to the chase here, and let's just get to those licks, because they're really solid. Alright, here we go. Okay, so this first lick I'm going to show you guys goes like the following. Yeah, so it, essentially all it is this thing called a hammer-on and pull-off. Hammer-on and pull-off is when you play a note without actually picking anything. So what you're doing is, just for the sake of it, like I'll pick the first note, right? But I'll hammer on to the next one. So notice how I'm not strumming the second note. I'm just hitting it with my third finger, my ring finger here. And that's how you get the hammer on. The pull off is after a hammer on, or wherever really. You're on a note, and what you do is you flick the string down. So you're not just lifting your ring finger off it, because that's not really gonna, unless you really, like, I guess, push hard first. But it's easier. Essentially, the technique goes, and it's even more useful for a technique called tapping, which we'll cover a bit later. Is you're gonna flick it down, right? Which is a lot better than that. And that's just me literally lifting it up and down. But if I flick it, get more volume. And that's the technique there. What I'm doing to sort of do this entire thing. That was a terrible bend, by the way. There we go. All I'm going to do there is I'm actually going to play down to the B string, and I'm on the sorry, I should mention I'm on the high E string on the 5th fret, and I'll be hammering onto the 8th fret on the E string, pulling off the 8th fret to the 5th fret on the E string, and then I'm going to play the 8th string on the the 8th fret on the B string, and then I'm going to go back to playing the 5th fret on the high E string. Now when we get that together, I'll do it slowly so you can sort of see. Maybe if I can just here, I'll stand up. Ugh. There we go. Okay. So what I'm doing is I just need these two fingers. So I'm not even really gonna try to keep that out of the way so you guys can see best. But so what I'm doing is I'm gonna and up to speed. So that's the idea. And just a bend is when you just bend that one up. Yeah. So that's really the first sort of technique. The great thing about it, the reason that it's so useful, has always just been because you can move it just about anywhere. It's a technique that you can move throughout the entire neck. Okay, So now that we have that covered up, we're going to move on to the next lick. Now this lick is an application of the previous lick in the sense that we're going to be doing the same hammer-ons and pull-offs, just moving them down a scale. So it's going to sound pretty freaking badass. Check it out. Okay, so this time with this lick, what we're doing here is we're doing the exact same thing that we did in the last lick, but we're moving it down a string, okay? So that's going to be the case for the first two parts. The specific lick can be broken down into 3 parts, but they're really, really easy, okay? So we're going to start off with the top one, this exact same thing as last lick. So it's, you're going to move it down a string. Exact same sort of format, same frets, just a different string. So we have okay. Now we're almost there. We're just missing that one last part, which is the hold on. So for that part, rather than just having it 5, 8, 5, 8, I'm gonna have it 5, 7, 5, 7. Now I'm starting that part on the G string, so it's gonna be and I'm having that last bit, that's the 5th fret on the D string. So it's a strum the 5, hammer on to the 7, flick it off, 7 on the D string. You can play that last one and do a bit of vibrato. Vibrato just being bending the string. It's not quite a bend like that, but it's just you're pulling down and you're just vibrating the string. So together, what we have is okay. So brutalized. So it's just one of those things you gotta build up with. I'm having a huge time struggling with it, playing it slow, because I mean, it's gonna get to a certain point where you don't really think about what you're playing, you just kind of do it. But yeah, I mean, that's probably just an excuse, and the reality is I'm just an extremely sloppy guitar player, which is just as valid and absolutely right. But speaking about the riff, the lick itself, this is just sort of, yet again, like the last one, it's more of an idea. You know, moving up and down strings isn't really easy for a lot of beginners. You know, it still isn't easy for me now. I mean, well, it's relatively. It's become easier, but you know, it's always something that you can be better at. It's just, you know, it doesn't really just say, okay, now you're just perfect at it. It's more of, you know, something you keep working at. So yeah, the idea, I guess, behind this, you can do insane stuff, something like that. But like, yeah, it's sort of the same thing. I'm just doing that sort of thing. Now that's something that I'll address in a different lesson, but the idea behind it is that it's really easy, becomes really, really easy, and gives you enough time to ready your right hand, or your left hand if you're a lefty, but your strumming hand, while you're... See, like, while I'm doing that, just watch my right hand and you'll see what I mean. So I'm just actually gonna move off to the side, and you can just, there we go, okay, cool. So you can only see this hand, you can't even see what I'm doing. Awesome. Ready? Now, I didn't really strum that once. How many times I strummed? No upstrokes, really. You know, just downstroke. You know, you don't really need to play the last bit if you get your left hand going. But yeah, yet again, this is just a good thing. It's a good warm up to do before, you know, playing a show. I find it helps a lot live. To do that type of stuff, just to warm up. So yeah, give her a go. So yeah, those are two licks that I think accurately depict a good skill building exercise for especially for beginner guitar players. I mean, I'd still practice you know, that like all of the time. Especially, it's just a really good finger building exercise. It's really compact, and it's something I learned a while ago from a series of different teachers. Not that particularly, but I mean, I realized that, you know, the more you do this sort of stuff, like your two fingers, mainly these, I guess these two, if you play it like this, you might get your pinky involved too, but you know, it's gonna really help your fingers go through. And the toughest part of learning guitar has always been, you know, dealing with all the, like, the bull, you know, dealing with all the crap that sort of comes with it, which is, you know, going through all that tedious stuff. Like, your fingers are supposed to hurt, you know, they're supposed to feel, like, terrible. But, you know, once you build up that callousness, once your fingers build up that sort of strength, that's when guitar starts really becoming fun. And once, like, the more you know, the more fun guitar becomes. But at the same time, physically learning stuff can be a bit tedious. And that's really what I want to do to make this video, because I mean, I'm not a huge theory guy. That's probably one of the few the things you're gonna learn about me if I keep this up. Hopefully I will. It's kind of fun. Is that, you know, theory really is definitely relevant. I mean, even guys like Rob Chapman, another great YouTuber, go check out his stuff. Fantastic stuff. Like they're all theory based, but the truth of the matter is, if you ask me, maybe, like, you know, this is just my own opinion, but you don't really need a whole lot of theory to do. You need a lot of theory to do well as a musician. But, you know, if you want to be in a band with your friends, if you're doing this truly just to enjoy the music itself for yourself, it's not absolutely necessary. Okay? I mean, I don't know jack shit about. Like, I don't know the theory behind any of that. I mean, I know their notes, and I know that, you know, it's fun to do stuff like. And, you know, that's about it. And I think that for me, that's what guitar's about. Just having a good time, you know? So, I've been the Hybrid. We're all friends. Thanks for hanging out, and you know, like, subscribe if you want. I'm not really gonna bully anyone into it, you know. Do it, don't do it, it's all good. Anyway, yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have yourself a good night.